Yo, the clone troopers, all they do is blow up. Savages. Welcome to Mind Canon, the Star Wars show that has probably made out with your mother at some time in the past. I am your host, the Fat Mantis, and today we are reviewing Clone Wars, Season 7, Episode 3, The Wings of Keeradaks. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Yes, Anakin, Rex, and the Bad Batch are rescuing Echo and are escaping Wat Tambor's man cave / Babatorium / Sky Fortress. In it, they have to ride giant reptilian beasts and fly through the corrosive atmosphere of the harsh planet while they are pursued by an endless wave of D-Wing battle droids. Now, these are the battle droids I was mocking last week. I called them chicken bots or chicken droids or whatever. Yes, they look like avions and they're weird and they're cheap and flimsy like any Confederacy of Independent Systems robot is. And I actually have to say, they were awesome to watch fly. As a matter of fact, when they spread their wings and they actually gained into pursuit, I was expecting someone, at least one of the clones, to say the line, "They could fly now?" Because that's straight out of Episode 9. And as we know, every line from the Star Wars films at one point or another has been co-opted for Clone Wars, just as a reminder, which is sometimes fun, but not always. Anyway, they're pursued by there, and they have to go back to the original alien village that they started their quest on. And in typical Star Wars fashion, using an old Star Wars trope, they get the indigenous alien people who are a little more savage, less technologically advanced, to rise up against the technological monsters that are the Confederacy, and later on in future movies and episodes of other shows, we're talking about the Empire, and they do that, and they do it swimmingly, and it produces action. It was epic levels of action. It was almost 24 minutes of non-stop action, and unfortunately, that's all it was. The episode had no substance. Now, while the first two episodes in this story arc built on a plot line and at least the anticipation of returning Echo, this character, and there was some sort of character development, at this point in the story arc, there was nothing going on there. No substance at all. This episode was bogged down with more action sequences of the Bad Batch, and quite frankly, we had already established what good fighters they are in the last two episodes. This does not need to continue. If I had my way, the episode would be action-packed, but it would be mostly about Rex and Echo, their relationship, and their ability to work as partners and friends throughout the crisis that is happening right now. Unfortunately, the creators of the show missed that opportunity, giving more scenes of the Bad Batch destroying and just being reckless soldiers, which ended up just being a snooze fest. Which is why I can only give this episode a 75. That's right, it seems a little harsh. I feel that this episode was a filler. Not that Clone Wars hasn't had its share of fillers. It has had a long history of fillers. It might be the show with the best fillers in the business. However, in this particular case, I wanted to get on. One of the problems I'm having with this season is, it's cool that they started with the clones. It makes total sense. Many seasons have done it. I love it, but I still have the anticipation that I had before the season started, when I wanted to see Ahsoka or Obi-Wan or any of these other characters do their thing. And it's still there because I'm not being satiated in some way. I essentially have a need that is not being fulfilled, which means Star Wars is having a bad relationship with me, at least for this time being. However, the art was good, the action is good, and if you're in the mood to watch clones, then you're gonna love this episode. But once again, we're waiting for it to move on. Who knows if Echo plotline is going to be resolved next episode, but I am curious. I am going to have to say that Disney Plus has been having a fulfillment issue lately. They have not had a lot of series or shows with substance. Now, don't get me wrong, I love The Mandalorian. I could watch Baby Yoda and I could watch a Jin go around in his armor and just blow stuff up all day long. But I will say that that entire season of Season 1 did not have a lot of substance, as this doesn't. Even though we love him, we need to accept the facts. The Mandalorian is not a character. He's a caricature of a character. He does not provide us any depth or information, or does not further any storytelling. Hopefully, In future seasons, this will be corrected as more is unveiled, but as of right now, he is just a cliche silent man. And I am a fan of the sequel trilogy. It could be argued that it didn't have as much substance as the other two going into it. So I wonder what that's going on, but I'm really looking for some meat, and right now you've just given me potatoes. So moving on, we've got to talk about what the final scene was of this episode, and it has Echo having a very weird interaction with Rex. Rex believes that we're going back to the old times. He says it's going to be just like the olden days. And Echo's like, yeah, sure. And he just stares off to the galaxy thinking, there is no way that's going to happen, Broham. You are dreaming. But what is that look of dread in his eyes? It could be argued multiple things. Now, some of the theories that are going on, the first one, an obvious one, is PTSD. That's right. Echo, for a year or plus probably, has been strapped to a computer and living in a virtual reality where he feeds information to the Confederates. I'm actually surprised he's able to walk around and talk and be a normal clone trooper, let alone adventure and do all the things that he's been doing. I have a feeling that this is short-lived and he's going to go back into a cowardly, scared thing. This might be a story about a prisoner of war situation. However, another that it could be is that he could have turned evil. And hear me out here. Notice they made sure to focus on the concept of plugs being in the back of his head. He's getting disconnected from the computer that he's been in there for at least a year. Is it at all possible that he has been corrupted, or he has Confederate programming in his mind and he's not going to behave like a normal trooper, or let alone friend? I am actually excited for this next episode, so they at least delivered on that. Now, so that's my review of the episode, but I want to move on to our bonus material for this week. And this week, I want to talk about the future of Star Wars, and therefore Disney Plus animation. That's right, we've got to talk about it. Now, in order to do this, I want us to jump in our little time machines and go back a year and a half, maybe. And what it was is all insiders and people were talking about the idea that they wanted to reinvigorate fans' love and faith in not only Luke Skywalker, but the original cast. And a way that was rumored to be done is that they were plotting the idea of a cartoon on Disney Plus, that they could do this similar to Clone Wars. And there was going to be a Luke Skywalker after Return of the Jedi, before the new trilogy starts up, his continued adventures as him, Luke trains Leia, and all sorts of shenanigans. Now that time period can now be open for adventuring. However, recently, just a few months ago, they declared that the next show that they're doing is a Rebels sequel. Now I want to bring this theory to you. Is it possible they are doing both in the form of an Ahsoka Tano trilogy? Now I know what you're thinking. An Ahsoka trilogy? That makes no sense. We've seen her in a ton of things. I'm talking about 3 cartoon series. I'm talking about Star Wars The Clone Wars being about Ahsoka. I'm talking about Star Wars Rebels, even though it tried to be something else, it ended up being a lot of it being about Ahsoka, or the essence of Ahsoka. And finally, whatever happens in this next one is going to be Ahsoka as well. There's going to be a few cast members from Rebels in it, and it's going to take place at the fall of the Empire, but it will also add Luke and Leia and all of them as they interact. And Ahsoka, now that she's still alive, apparently, she will be able to interact with them, and that Anakin's old apprentice will be able to hang out and adventure with an older, more secure Luke. It's beautiful and eloquent, and it would be perfect for both old fans and new fans alike. And of course, it referenced back to one of Disney's greatest Star Wars things ever, The Clone Wars. We all love Ahsoka, and we want to keep seeing her adventures. We all are speculating that she is going to be the one to take Baby Yoda in instead of having him die at Luke's Academy. I think that we're all thinking about that, but let's see her adventures as she is a full-grown adult and Master Jedi. Let me know what you think in the comments of this theory, if it's possible, and if you've heard anything on the grapevine. Also, let me know what you have thought of the storyline so far on the Disney Plus Clone Wars. What do you think of Season 7? Also, I want you to like, share, subscribe, and I want you to keep tuning in to Voice of the Fat Mantis for more of Mind Canon, as well as updates on Star Wars, other reviews of great fun shows, pop culture, and mocking American society. Trust me, it is getting weirder as we go along. Other than that, go with God. I love you all. Have a beautiful day. Ciao for now, bitches.